Let me start with sharing few thoughts and trying to bust myths right in the beginning. When I entered, I heard a lady say, looking at that picture, it's actually creepy and scary. So my job here is to decrease or minimize that scare in your minds, allay the anxiety which is associated with cancer. It's not as bad as we think it to be. Second thing, just Monisha said that stage 3 and 4 and nothing can be done. It's not that nothing can be done. A lot of it can be done even at that stage. But we don't want to have patients in stage 3 and 4. We want them to come to us at 1 and 2, preferably even before that. There is something called stage 0 as well. So this is what I would be looking at. So to start with, what exactly is cancer? I will be touching upon some basic things which most of you might be aware of. So please bear with me, but I would like to cover things in a particular order. So basically, cancer means uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells at the cost of normal cells. So each and every word of this sentence is important because it is uncontrolled. These are abnormal cells and they eat up on the nutrition which actually should go to our normal cells, normal body cells, and then leads to problems with nutrition in the body, weight loss and all those things. How is it, what are tumors and what are cancers? Tumor is not synonymous with cancer. Any tumor is not cancer. So there are many tumors, some of them are cancers, like those which have propensity to spread from one place to the other. They are the only tumors which are cancers. Almost any swelling in the body can be called a tumor. Good number of them can increase in size locally, but they do not spread from one place to the other. They are not exactly cancers. They are benign tumors, not malignant tumors. So to start with breast cancer and even cancer in general, cancer breast is the most common cancer in urban areas of India. It is definitely the most common cancer in Western countries. So you know why it is most common in urban areas, because we are now westernized, more of westernized habits, working wise, eating wise, all those things are moving towards the West. Without accepting the goodness, we are accepting the bad habits from West. And it is fast catching up in other areas as well. This is, although this man is happy seeing the Sensex go up, but we are not happy seeing the rate go up like that. Any cancer, you can broadly divide, these are the risk factors. Genetic, although it is on the top, but it is least commonly involved. And by genetic here I mean hereditary. Genetic means anything to do with genes. So most of the cancers will have some genetic problems which are acquired during the lifetime, but they are not hereditary. Amongst all cancers, maybe 5 to 10% of them will have hereditary component, but not the remaining ones. Infection, again very important for some cancers like cervical cancer and liver cancer. And environmental, this is very, very important. And by environment, I don't mean only external environment. Our own lifestyle creates a bad internal environment as well. There are certain risk factors for breast cancer. Age, for most of the cancers, is a risk factor in breast cancer also, and you can see this is age and this is the incidence of breast cancer. So as you age, very high numbers will get breast cancer. Gender, yes, because most of the breast cancers, I am saying not all, but most of the breast cancers actually happen in females. So men are not immune, and I am happy that some men have come here. 1% of the breast cancers, but 1% of the breast cancers actually affect males as well. And it's not 1, maybe 2%. In my practice at least, I have seen around 2% of my patients of breast cancer are males. So they are not immune from breast cancer. Familial and inherited genes. As I said, this constitutes only 5 to 10% of breast cancers, not more than that. Hormonal. This is something which we do not have a very big control over, because if a lady has an early menarche, that means beginning of the periods, or a late menopause, so beginning of periods before 12 years and periods ending after 50 years of age, so you are exposed for a longer time to that hormonal cycles, is a risk factor. Not having a child or having a child very late in your life, maybe beyond 29-30 years of age. So if a lady has a child at around 22-23, that's the ideal age, and it gives more protection against breast cancer. This is not to say that if you have a late child you have very high risk, but yes, these all factors have some incremental effect on increasing the risk of breast cancer. Hormone intake. artificial hormones. Nowadays oral contraceptive pills are pretty safe. Even the hormone replacement therapy after menopause has become quite safe. But there was a time when both of them were clearly associated with higher risk of breast cancer. Lifestyle, I have already mentioned a bit of it. Use of tobacco is unfortunately increasing day by day, even in women. And smoking is becoming very common. Gutka is another part. So smoking is a definite risk factor for breast cancer. Alcohol, excess intake of alcohol again is a risk factor for not only breast cancer, many other cancers and many other diseases. Cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases, brain diseases, stroke. So you name a disease and one of them will be somewhere there. Fatty diet, excess fat, obesity again is a risk factor. Some of the benign breast diseases also lead to increased risk of breast cancer, not all of them, very few of them. And environmental, like radiation and pollution, again we are not able to control it in a manner which we would like it to be. Just to mention, cigarette has many chemicals. 4,000 chemicals have been identified in tobacco smoke, and good number of them are carcinogens, and carcinogens means they can cause cancer. So just to name a few of them, there is stearic acid, which is found in candle wax. We don't eat wax, right? But then we inhale it. There is a paint on the cigarette. So there are many chemicals, and I've just enumerated a few of them. So how to identify breast cancer? Lump, which is usually painless. But beware, all these symptoms that I am mentioning could also be, most of the symptoms could also be because of non-cancer problems. 8 out of 10 breast lumps are actually not cancer. They are benign. So you don't have to panic. But you must check yourself, and you must get yourself checked if you find a lump in your body anywhere, not only breast, anywhere. Important point is they are usually painless. Painful lumps usually 90% of the times will not be cancer. There is a nipple discharge. Nipple discharges can be of various types. It could be bloody, just a transparent discharge, whitish, milky, yellowish, greenish. So any kind of nipple discharge should be checked. Good number of them again will not be cancerous. If it is bloody discharge, or if it is absolutely clear transparent discharge, these are the most common ones found in breast cancer. Recent inversion of nipple. Nipple is usually projecting outside the body, but some ladies have it going inside right from birth or from the puberty when the breast development takes place. That is normal. But if you have seen a recent inversion of one of the nipples or even both the nipples, that's abnormal and is a very important sign of breast cancer. Destruction of nipple. Sometimes you do get infections of nipple, but they go away. There is a destruction which continues despite treatment for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, is a cause for worry. Thickening of the skin, and it becomes like orange peel. This is a very late sign actually of breast cancer. This is usually in stage 3 or 4 that you get this kind of thickening. And the picture that I am going to show is not an early cancer, it's an advanced cancer, so don't get so scared. You can see that nipple is slightly going inside. This is a very early nipple invasion. You can see the skin has gotten thickened and it looks like an orange peel with all these dots seen here, because the skin is swollen. Skin has edema, and then the areas where the sweat glands come out, or the hair follicles may come out in some ladies, those areas form dimples and it gives a feel of orange peel. The tumor was so large that it has now ulcerated through the skin and come out. So that's much bigger. I am not asking you to see that. This is clear-cut nipple inversion, and also you can see a small ulcer destroying the nipple. This is abnormal. These are small tubercles which are normal, and especially in lactating ladies you can find it very commonly, or pregnant ladies. So how do we stage breast cancer? After knowing the symptoms, something called staging, and staging is applicable, this kind of staging is applicable to most of the cancers, not only breast cancer. I am just giving you an example of breast cancer. Stage 1, as Monisha was talking about, is a small lump in the breast, maybe 1 or 2 centimeters. Stage 2, when either the lump size increases or it goes to armpit and some lymph glands in the armpit are involved, and they are early, smaller glands. Stage 3, when glands in your neck, or these glands cannot be felt because these are inside the rib cage, or glands here are involved, or these glands become larger. Sometimes only a large lump in the breast with involvement of skin also becomes stage 3 without having any lymph glands anywhere else. So this is just a broad kind of staging. And stage 4 is when things have gone much beyond. breast or regional area. I have not shown anything here because disease is here obviously. It has gone to brain, to liver, liver, lungs or any other area, becomes stage 4. And as she rightly said, 65 to 70% of the patients come in stage 3 and 4. Most of the time in government setup. In private sector like our hospital, we don't get such high numbers of stage 3 and 4, but we do still get, and we do get ladies from a very learned background, very affluent background, coming with large breast masses fungating through the skin, and they are just sitting on it. So how do we catch them early? It's not only you who need to be aware, it's us also who need to be aware. Because I am in cancer, I may not know too much about cardiac problem, about neuro problem. So you may go to a person who is not an expert on cancer, who is a general physician, and sometimes they may ignore. So if you find something is abnormal, something you are not comfortable with, seek another opinion. Ask for more investigations. Because if you have a problem, it needs to be diagnosed and treated if required. So we must recognize the symptoms, we should not ignore them, and we should undergo regular screening. These are the 3 steps. If we can follow, we will be able to catch most of the cancers at an early stage. And awareness drives, role of organizations like Cancer Society, even media and government organization is a very important aspect. And Vivek was mentioning that we are happy that you have come, but I am happy that I have come, because I really like spreading the message, and I really like talking to people about cancer and awareness. So there are 3 methods how we can screen. The simplest, the cheapest and the easiest is self-examination. You must know how to do it and do it at a regular interval. Then examination by a trained personnel. Need not be a doctor always, can be a very well trained nurse as well. There are countries where good nurses, good well trained nurses have done it, and there has been a very large study done by Tata Memorial Hospital, which was presented in the largest world conference on cancer recently and was widely acclaimed, that involved training of paramedical workers, not doctors, nurses, DIs in rural areas, and they were involved in one of the largest screening projects for breast cancer done so far in India. And they were doing better examinations than doctors at times, because they were more vigilant, they were more sincere, they were aware that, see, we are not doctors. So probably that was playing at the back of their mind, and they were much more vigilant in seeing the people, seeing the general population. And lastly, some investigations are required. So first, how do we do screening, and when do we, self-examination, and when do we do that? The best time for premenopausal ladies is 4 to 5 days after the periods are over, because that is the time when your breast would feel a little softer and you are likely to find abnormalities and pick up abnormalities. When do we do it? While taking shower or lying down on the bed. So you start by undressing the top half of your body, stand in front of the mirror, see whether the breast is looking normal or not, both the breasts are symmetrical or not. Sometimes one of them might be slightly lower than the other, that's normal, but difference should not be too huge. Then you take your hands up like this lady is doing, and then again see the symmetry. See if there is any dimpling happening anywhere in the skin, or see when you raise the hand whether the nipple goes in, which may not be apparent when your hands are by the side of your body. So this is the first step. Second step is the feel of the breast. Although the picture shows while shower, but I would recommend you do it lying down, and you will see it in the next slide. You must lie flat. You can put a small pillow on the side of the examination if your breast is large and falls on the side, because that will help it to be in the right place to examine all the parts of the breast. Then rest your arm on a firm surface, or you can do it like this. You can rest your arm under your head or just take it here on the side of the examination. And then with the opposite hand, so for the left breast, right hand, and correct method is these 3 fingers, flat of the 3 fingers. You don't have to poke, you don't have to pinch, otherwise you will feel lumps which are actually not there. And then again there are various ways of doing it. You have to cover all areas of breast. You can start from one corner, move up and down and reach the other side. You can start radially like spokes of a wheel from all sides, and then finally in the center of the breast. So after you have completed the breast, go to the armpits and then feel the lower part of the neck. This completes self-examination. Usually takes around 2 to 3, 4 minutes maybe. If you go to YouTube, you can find very nice videos, 4-5 minute videos to show how is it done. The second part I have told you, examination by a trained personnel, and third would be the investigation. This is a mammogram. Apparently looks normal, but there is a very small problem seen here, which ultimately turned out to be cancer. No doctor in the world, no person in the world could feel it by their own hands. Could only be detected by a mammogram. And this is the cancers we are looking, these are the cancers we are looking to catch, so that we can give almost 100% cure rate. Then there is another cancer which is caught on mammogram but is reasonably big to be caught by hands as well. So self-examination must be done periodically after the age of 20 years. Clinical examination by a trained personnel between 20 to 40 years, maybe 1 to 3 yearly, and after 40 years every year. And mammogram is 1 to 2 years after 40 years of age. Now this is a little debatable. In US they say 40 years, in UK they say 50 years, but at least we can start the baseline at 40, maybe keep the frequency a little less, 3 yearly, and after 50 we do it annually for some time, and up to around 64, 65 years of age. Cervical cancer. Symptoms. Most common symptom of early cervical cancer is post-coital bleed, that is post-intercourse bleed. Usually, yes, a lady who is going to have intercourse for the first time may have bleeding, but it should not happen on a regular basis. Or if she has not had it earlier and is having it now, it is a cause of concern. Or for a post-menopausal lady who is not having periods now, is having bleeding, also could be a sign of cervical cancer. So we must start screening 3 years after the onset of normal vaginal intercourse. So after sexual activity has begun, after 3 years of that, we must start screening for cervical cancer. Definitely not later than 21 years of age. Now this is very important in case of cervical cancer. We don't have a vaccine for breast cancer, but we do have a vaccine for cervical cancer, and it's quite efficacious, hardly has any side effects, should be given in 3 dosage. Ideal age which is recommended is around 10 to 12 years, because it's based on the Western data, and they see that the girls there begin sexual activity much earlier, maybe a little later in our country. And counseling for adolescents for hygiene and for safe sexual practices is very, very important. Unfortunately, in our country, sex education takes a back seat. Even when students are in class 8, 9, they have to study reproductive system, teachers just hurry through those chapters. And we do get information, but from wrong sources in a wrong way and at a wrong time, at much later age. So it is our duty, it is schools' duty. Now good number of schools have started sex education right from the age of 4 or 5 in a proper way. Not you can't obviously explain what is intercourse, how babies are formed and all, but you start in a proper way, and it is our duty to take care of our children. Then examination by a doctor every 3 years, pap smear every 3 years, and if you have 3 consecutive pap smear which are normal, you can stop screening for a period of maybe a decade or so. But if you have any symptoms, you must go back to the screening. Pap smear is the traditional method. There is a new thing called thin prep, or which is a different technology, which is slightly more expensive but is more sensitive. And this is one cancer where we can say early detection means 100% cure. Cervical cancer can be caught at stage 0 very easily by a pap smear, and stage 0 means 100% cure. Stage 1 does not mean 100% cure. It means maybe 95, maybe 90, but not 100%. So how to treat any cancer? I am a surgeon, so I will obviously put surgery at the top. Most of the solid cancers, like breast is a solid cancer. There are liquid cancers like blood cancers. They don't need surgical intervention, but most of the solid cancers will need surgery at some point in time. Chemotherapy, then radiation therapy, and something called hormone therapy, which is very important in cases of breast cancer, in cases of prostate cancer in men. So these are the 4 main pillars of treatment. There are many other like targeted therapy, which is again can be classified into chemotherapy. If you people have any question in between, you can raise your hand and ask. So I don't mind that. Now there was a time when breast cancer meant losing your breast. This young lady around 36, 37 years of age, when I treated her in 2007, this is after treatment. So you can see there are 2 scars, but her breast is intact, and that's how it looks as compared to the other breast. It's almost normal. This is 1 year after the treatment, but sometimes we do need to do this as well, and we need to remove the breast. However, there is a remedy to it. Like this lady had a large part of the breast removed, but we could fill it up with the skin and the muscle and give it a very good shape of a normal breast. Similarly, if you remove the whole breast, you can even reconstruct that at the same sitting or after completion of the treatment, depending on what kind of treatment is to be given. Cervical cancer, again, you can preserve the uterus and ovaries provided you have very early cancer. If it needs to be treated by a surgery which can remove only that small part and not the whole uterus. And sometimes we do give chemotherapy and radiation therapy, but this preserves only the uterus, not the ovary, because the radiation does destroy the ovarian function as such. The other treatment would be removal of the uterus and ovaries. So some of the myths that are associated with cancer, not only breast or cervical, for any cancer. One, cancer is contagious. It is not. Even that ulcerated lesion, if you touch that, it will not cause cancer to you. Even if you touch that with a wound in your skin, it will not affect you. Yes, it is not hygienically recommended. You may infect the wound may infect your skin or your wound, but cancer will not spread like that. There is always a hereditary element present, which is, again, I have already told you about it. This is something very interesting which good number of our patients ask us. It spreads after treatment and especially after surgery. आपने डॉक्टर साहब छू दिया, अब तो फैल जाएगा पूरा. This is a very common myth. I don't know if you people have that notion or you have heard it, but almost half of our patients at some point in time will ask this question to us. And same is true with biopsies. See, biopsies are required for diagnosis for most of the cancers. There are maybe handful of cancers which do not require biopsy or where biopsy is not recommended before we operate. But most of the cancers do require a biopsy, and it does not flares up cancer in any way. There are certain take-home messages that you should be aware, and not only aware, please increase awareness amongst your family, amongst your friends. And I was talking to Monisha, why cervical cancer? Because cervical cancer is considered to be a disease of lower socioeconomic strata because of poor hygiene and many other things. But we do come across such people in our lives at various stages. So it is our duty to tell them about it. Please quit tobacco and alcohol. Alcohol sometimes in moderation is okay, but not on a regular basis. Tobacco never, definitely never. Promote breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is a big protecting factor against breast cancer. And feeding means not feeding for a month or two. It should be for at least a year. You may not be continuously feeding whole day long, but at least continue the feed. If you are a working woman, if you have facility for creche in the office, utilize it. If you stay close to your office, try to do that. Or you can express the milk, either throw it away or give it to some agency which collects such milks and makes mother milk powders, and feed your child when you are at home. But please do feed. It will only protect you and your child. It will definitely not affect your figure in any way. It will not make your breasts pendulous in any way. That's a big myth. Improve your dietary habits and hygiene. We are cooking less and less at home and eating out. So try to cook more at home. Try to take fresh fruits and vegetables more and more. And even if you are going out to eat, be careful to eat something which is freshly cooked and in a hygienic way. Regular health checkups are important. We think that we are young, and I see too many young people. Almost all of you are maybe under 40, maybe 45. So we are not immune. The youngest patient I have operated upon for breast cancer was only 23. So no age is immune, and it's not to scare you, just to make you aware of it. And if you are in doubt, please consult a specialist. Even if you have it, don't fear it, give it a tough fight, and we are with you. Just a couple of more advices. Tumors may behave very differently in two different individuals, even if they are same tumors. It may be breast cancer, stage 1, same type of tumor, may be very aggressive in one lady and may not be that aggressive in the other. Stage 3 may progress very fast in one lady. We have seen stage 4 cancer surviving for 20 years. They are exceptions, not the rules. But even stage 4 cancers can definitely go on for 2-3 years with a reasonable quality of life. So it's not that stage 4 means you are just gone. I'm talking of breast cancer. So please do not take others' examples for your decision. कि डॉक्टर साहब उसको तो रेडिएशन लगा था, आप हमें नहीं दे रहे हो, उनको तो कीमो नहीं लगी, आप हमें बता रहे हो. So it's very different, tumors are different, tumors have different characteristics, there are molecular profiles, there are genetic profiles which are different, and everybody may not need hormone therapy. So early discovery means early recovery. Cancer is curable if detected early. And my last slide is, if any one of you smokes or takes alcohol, this is the ladder you have to climb. And good number of you who are smoking, I am sure they are sitting here, they don't want to do it. Even if you have climbed 1 or 2 ladders, I am happy about it. I would be more than happy to see you here. Thank you very much.